Hello. Hello. Hi everyone. Welcome to a new live stream. Hi. I'm here. Welcome to a new live stream. How's it going? I hope everything is great. Today we are going to learn some 10 funny and common Spanish phrases, guys. I'm very excited about this lesson because the 10 phrases are commonly used, of course, and they are also they don't have a literal meaning, but in every language there's like funny phrases that people use to express a feeling, or you use them in certain situations. So that's something good to learn when learning a new language, in this case, well, Spanish. Well, before we get started, don't forget to subscribe and also click on the bell icon so you can get notified every time I live stream. I want to give a big shout out to our Cafecito members: Michael Chandler, Tom Siebold, Ralph Marquez, Brianna Lee, Ruby Brockenberry, Christopher Michael, William Lopez, David Beaver, SC, Gregory Ramirez, and Michael Lee. Thank you guys for the support. The coffee is delicioso. El cafecito está delicioso. Muchas gracias. If you want me to give you a shout out, you can get a Cafecito membership. You only need to click on the join button down below. Also, there's different perks when getting the membership. You get from Monday to Friday Spanish word of the day images, like you get the word and some example, and I usually talk a little bit about it. You can find that on the community tab. Of course, that's only for members. And yeah, if you want to know more about the membership, please click on the join button down below. Thank you so much, Cafecito members. Muchas gracias. Okay, so let's get started. Oh, remember, I'm live streaming, so if you have any question, please use the live chat for that. You need to be a subscriber if you want to use it. So click on that subscribe button. It's free. So that's good. Okay, let's get started. 10 funny and common phrases. You already know this. You can increase your vocabulary for sure with these phrases, okay? So it's not only about learning words, Spanish words or Spanish verbs, but it's also really good to learn phrases. And funny phrases, that's the best. Okay, so the first one, guys. Let's do this. The first phrase is ponerse las pilas. Ponerse las pilas. What does this mean? Ponerse las pilas. Pilas means batteries. Ponerse comes from the verb poner, which means to put. Okay, so literally putting something, I don't know, in something else. In this case, we're talking about batteries. So las pilas, obviously pilas is feminine. Okay, pilas is feminine, that's why we need la, and it's plural because we have the letter S. That's why you need las pilas. Ponerse, as I said before, comes from the verb poner, which is just this one right here. Just poner. Poner means to put, as I said before. when you add this, I always say this, but it's good to, remember and just refresh your memory a little bit. When we have se next to a verb, that means that it can be used in a reflexive way and that you can use the pronouns se, me, le, te. Okay? So that's quite interesting. Let's see what this phrase means. It's quite funny. We're talking about batteries and to put some batteries somewhere. But where though? Where? That is the question. We'll talk about that for sure. The literal meaning, as I said before, to put the batteries in. So obviously, poner can mean to put and to put in. Okay, in somewhere, in the toy. If we're talking about batteries, right? You put batteries in a toy. So we could be talking about that, or something else that needs batteries. So it's similar to wake up. So that's what this phrase means. Wake up. When you say this phrase, you're telling to someone, hey, wake up, because that person is just daydreaming or not paying attention, or feeling a little tired, like you don't have energy. So you need batteries. Not literally, but you know what happens when you put batteries in a toy? It goes all crazy. It could be, right? It could be the case. It goes all crazy and whatnot, but just think about it that way. And also it's similar to saying, get your act together. Okay, just get it together. Let's do this. It's not time to waste. Let's just do something that needs to be done. That's why you use this phrase, or that's the reason why you would use this phrase. Ponerse las pilas. For example, I could say, ponte las pilas. Ponte las pilas. I mean, don't snap your fingers at someone, but it's just like you need that energy, right? You need that energy going. So that's why you say this. Ponte las pilas. You can say this to someone, of course. Ponte las pilas. Okay? Tenemos que acabar esto. Tenemos que acabar esto. Okay, so what does this mean? Let's look at the meaning. Get your act together. Okay, we have to finish this. We have to finish this. So let's do it. Let's not waste any time. That's what you're saying. So ponte, obviously you need to know the conjugation of this verb, poner. And as I said before, when we have se, that means that you can have these nouns here. In this case, te. Ponte, not ponce, right? Ponte. Ponte means it's a command, and it means, put something, in this case, in, but we're not literally saying put some batteries in you, right? We're just saying, hey, wake up. So las pilas, ponte las pilas, you know what that means. Las pilas, batteries. So it's just like saying put some batteries in. That's the literal translation. It's quite funny, I would say. It's quite funny. Tenemos means we have to, and then ... you add whatever you need to do. And here's a tip. If you want to say tenemos and you want to add more, you need to use que. Tenemos que. And this means we have to, and then you add the action. In this case, we need to acabar. Acabar means to finish or finish. in this situation. So acabar, yo acabo, tú acabas, él acaba, nosotros acabamos. So this is a really good verb to learn. That means to finish something, finish some work, finish anything you're working on. Okay, so this is a good verb to learn. Esto means this. Okay, tenemos que, once again, means we have to. Acabar, finish. Esto, this. Okay, and this phrase right here is just a funny phrase that you can use to say, get your act together. You know, you can use it. Obviously, this is an informal phrase, so you said, pretty much all the phrases we're gonna learn today are for informal situations. You would not say this to, for example, your boss, right? I mean, or someone who you need to be very polite with, you know, or you need to be polite with I don't know, people that you don't know too well. So I would not use these phrases among like among people that you don't know too well, but with your friends, with family, with people you know and you get comfortable with, you can use this phrase, no problem, right? No, you won't have any problem. It's not rude. Obviously depends on your attitude as well. If you snap your fingers, I don't think that's a good idea. But it's a funny phrase that you can say to someone you know well. Okay, ponerse las pilas. Similar to saying, wake up, get your act together, you know? Let's get going. Let's do this. Similar to that. Okay, the literal translation, we talked about that, to put the batteries in. The batteries in. Okay, so phrase number 2. The second phrase is comer moscas. Comer moscas. Comer means to eat. It's a verb, of course. It means to eat, right? To eat something. In this case, we're talking about moscas. Moscas means, do you know what what moscas mean? It means flies. Moscas means flies. To eat flies. So that sounds very, very disgusting. What are we talking about? It sounds very gross. Comer moscas, literal meaning, to eat flies. Yum. Okay, so the meaning, you use this phrase when you want to say, or when you see someone distracted, okay? Once again, it's similar to ponerse las pilas, the previous phrase we learned, but we're talking about someone who is not paying attention again. You would say this to someone who's not paying attention. So similar again to, hey, wake up. What are you doing? Because you're eating flies. You're just like too distracted that you're eating flies pretty much. So comer moscas can be used in that situation. And it's just, you're referring to someone who is distracted, okay? Not paying attention. So, for example, I could say, deja de comer moscas. Deja de comer moscas y ayúdame, por favor. Okay? So we added por favor. So that makes it a little polite. This phrase is not mean. Once again, you can use it among friends. Or people you're comfortable with. So, deja de comer moscas y ayúdame, por favor. This whole sentence means, stop being distracted and help me, please. Okay? Some of these phrases that we're gonna learn today do not have like a meaning. Well, they have a meaning, but it's hard to translate from from Spanish into English. So that's why I have something like similar to being distracted. Okay, if you are distracted or if someone is distracted, you can use this phrase for that situation. Deja de comer moscas. When you say that, deja is a great word that you can use. It's a verb. It comes from dejar. Dejar means to leave, or pretty much that's the main meaning of dejar. It means to leave. Like if you leave something somewhere, like your keys on the table, deja las llaves en la mesa. Leave the keys on the table. Or it means, just to leave something somewhere. If you're holding something, you need to let that go, right? So dejar is a great verb. When I say deja means stop in this situation. Okay, stop in this peculiar situation. Deja de, this is a great little word that works with dejar a lot. They're usually together. They're usually together. So if you say deja de, means stop doing something, right? Stop in doing something. In this case, comer moscas. Okay, comer moscas. So you're saying deja de, that means stop. And you add the verb, any verb actually. If you say deja de comer, that means stop eating. Or if you say deja de hablar, stop talking. Okay, so it's a really good little phrase here. Sorry, what am I doing? Little phrase here, deja de. And then you add the verb. In this case, you're saying comer moscas. So that means stop being distracted. Okay? And y means and. Ayúdame, great little word. Another great word that you can use by itself. Ayúdame means help me. Okay, so if you are in a dangerous situation and you need help, you can say ayúdame. That means help me. Ayúdame. You can also say ayuda, just ayuda without the accent mark. Just this part. Just this part, ayuda. That means help. Okay, but when you say ayúdame, that means help me. Okay, help me. It's a great word to learn. Por favor. This is a great phrase to learn too. This is a very common one. If you're familiar with Spanish, you know what this means. Por favor means help. Please. What am I saying? Please. So, ayúdame, help me. Por favor, please. So it actually, if you learn this, ayúdame por favor, is a very polite way to ask for help. Ayúdame por favor. Ayúdame por favor. If you change this ayúdeme por favor, that's like extra polite. You're saying, you're saying this to someone, and usually you say this to people that you don't know at all. Ayúdeme por favor. That means, like help me please, but it's a polite way to talk to people, or to refer, not to talk to people, to not address, but you're just saying this phrase to ask for help. Very polite. But because we're using comer moscas, we're informal, very informal. So you need ayúdame. Ayúdame, por favor. Help me, please. Okay? Yeah, if you know the use of usted, you know that is you polite, polite you. And yeah, when you conjugate for verbs for that pronoun, you need to, it has a certain conjugation. So that's why ayúdeme is polite, and it's like you help me, right? You help me, but it's polite. And if you want to be informal, not impolite, but just informal, it's ayúdame. Okay, I just wanted to let you know that. Okay, the next, well, remember, comer moscas means you can use it if you want to say to someone, you're distracted, or in this situation, deja de comer moscas, stop being distracted. Excellent. Oops, I need to erase this. We don't need this for now. The next phrase number 3. Let's see what we have. We have nothing because I'm not using the right brush. Hablando del rey de Roma. This is a long one, isn't it? Hablando del rey de Roma. A lot of R sounds too. Hablando del rey de Roma. Well, just two. Rey de Roma. So what are we talking about? Hablando, you don't have to worry about the conjugation of this because this comes from the verb hablar. Okay? You don't have to worry about the conjugation of this because usually you will use this phrase with this conjugation, hablando. Hablando del, remember, we in Spanish, we don't have de él, we have del. So sometimes, for example, in this situation, de él will be él because we're talking about rey. Rey is masculine, and we cannot have this, de él. We have only one E, and that's why we have del. Del rey. Rey means king, okay? De Roma, Roman king, okay? King of Roma, Rome, Rome, right? So this means speaking of the king of Rome. Okay, so that's the literal translation. You'll see it right here. Speaking of the king of Rome. What? We're talking about a king. What are we talking about? Which one, right? I mean, Roma. Roma. This is a very common phrase that I've heard before. I mean, all the phrases we're talking about are very common. But King of Rome. King of Rome. Let's see. It's similar to saying speaking of the devil. Okay. In English, you have the phrase speaking of the devil, right? In Spanish, we have hablando del rey de Roma. I don't know why, but for some reason, we are saying speaking of the king of Rome. I don't know where it comes from, but it's a common phrase that people say in Spanish. So, for example, it's very similar to speaking of the devil, okay? It's very similar. So, if you want to say speaking of the devil in Spanish, then you need this phrase. Okay, for example, fíjate que María. Usually this phrase is used when you're gossiping, by the way. Fíjate que María me dijo que iba a divorciarse. Hablando del rey de Roma. Fíjate que María me dijo que iba a divorciarse. Hablando del rey de Roma. What does this mean? Fíjate. Fíjate is a great word. If you're gossiping, if you like to gossip, A lot of people say, you can say this if you like gossip. If you like to gossip, you can use this phrase. What am I saying? Sorry, it's just I'm a bit tired, but I'm here. Fíjate, fíjate. It's when you want to start saying something juicy. Okay, you're talking about something juicy, so you can say fíjate que. Add this as well to the word. It's technically a phrase. Fíjate que. Fíjate que. It's like saying, let me tell you something, or similar to pay attention to. I mean, it's literally fíjate. Fíjate means to pay attention. So if someone tells you, hey, fíjate, fíjate, that means pay attention, right? But if you're gossiping, that means it's similar to saying, did you know? Did you know? And then ... or let me tell you, or I heard. It's similar to that. I heard a rumor like that, but it's similar to that, like I know something, let me tell you. Maria is a name. Maria me dijo. That means Maria told me. Okay. Maria, did you know that? Maria told me. Okay. Que iba is similar to saying she was in this situation. Que iba a, she was going. Divorciarse. Divorciarse means to get a divorce. Okay. So I guess that's something juicy. Something juicy to know. Maria me dijo. Obviously, you can change this to any name. He, she, they, right? As well. Pronouns, you can use that as well. Ella me dijo. She told me. Él me dijo. He told me. Okay. Que iba in this situation means told. She was. When you say que iba a, that little phrase here, it's like saying was going to. Okay. Oops. Let me just show you more here. Get a divorce. Just like that. She was going to. Que iba a. Okay. I mean, you can say que ella iba a, but you don't need ella here. Right here in the middle. Que ella iba a divorciarse. You don't need ella, so that's why I have iba a, que iba a, and that means she was going to divorciarse. Divorciarse. Divorciar means to divorce. When you add se, the pronoun se, it's similar to saying get a divorce, that she is getting a divorce. So it's similar to that. So divorciarse, to get a divorce. Okay. And then hablando del rey de Roma. It doesn't matter if that person is a female, male. Usually you say rey de Roma, king of Rome. Okay, so it doesn't matter if it's a female, male, and whatnot. So that means brushes. Speaking of the devil, maybe she just showed up, like she walked into a room, and then you're saying like, speaking of the devil, right? So similar situation here. Just as, if you want to say speaking of the devil, you can say hablando del rey de Roma. Okay. Very common phrase to say. I'm not sure why king of Rome. Maybe, I don't know, people used to talk about the king of Rome. I don't think Rome had kings. Right? Right? I don't know. I don't know. Emperors, maybe? Right? But anyways, so hablando del rey de Roma means speaking of the devil. Very similar to that. Okay? The literal translation is speaking of the king of Rome. Excellent. So the next phrase number 4. Phrase number 4 is ser pan comido. Ser pan comido. The literal translation is to be eaten bread. Very, very nonsense. To be eaten bread. Do you want to be eaten bread? What does that even mean? Ser comes from, well, it's a verb. It's not conjugated. Obviously, you need to know how to conjugate the verb ser if you want to use this phrase. Ser means to be. Pan means bread. Comido means eaten. Okay? Remember, pan is masculine. El pan. Okay? Because I know it might look feminine, but it's actually masculine. El pan. To be eaten bread. Ser pan comido. Now, let's see the meaning of this. The meaning is, or it's similar to be a piece of cake. Right? In English, that's a very common phrase to say. To be a piece of cake. When something is easy. If you had to fix something, it was easy. It was a piece of cake. Okay? You had a test. I don't know. And it was a piece of cake. So you can use this phrase in those situations. Ser pan comido. To be eaten bread. I'm not sure why bread. I mean, I'm not sure why cake either. Like, I don't know, but somehow, they're common expressions. And let's look at an example. Let's see how to use this phrase. Again, I'm using the wrong brush. Ya arreglé la computadora. Ya arreglé la computadora. Okay. We're talking about computers or just a computer. Computadora. I mean, it looks very similar to computer, to the word computer. So that's what it means. La computadora, computer. Of course, if you are in Spain, it will be el ordenador. El ordenador. Ya arreglé el ordenador. Quite different. Doesn't look like it says computer there, but that's what it means. And el ordenador is used in Spain only. La computadora, Latin America. Some people call computadora compu. Compu. Sounds pretty cute. Compu, la compu. Okay. So la computadora, computer. Compu, computer. Ordenador, computer. That's what we're talking about. Fue pan comido. Fue pan comido. Fue pan comido. Ya arreglé la computadora. Fue pan comido. This means I already fixed the computer. Okay? It was a piece of cake. So easy. So easy. Ya means already. Okay? And it's commonly used to say, when something is done. When something is done, it's finished, it's You don't have to do anything else. In this situation, arreglé means, it comes from the verb arreglar, which means to fix. In this situation, it's past tense, and it means fixed. Ya, by the way, ya also means yet. If you say ya llegamos, are we there yet? Okay. So it depends on the situation, but ya also means already. So in this situation, I mean, you can have yo, of course, over here, but we don't need it all the time. Yo ya arreglé, that literally means I already fixed. You don't need yo. You can say ya arreglé, okay? La computadora, you know what this means. The computer, la compu, okay? Fue, I like the sound of that, fue means it was, okay? Fue, it comes from this verb right here. So that's why when I started talking about this phrase, I told you need to know the conjugation of the verb ser. And that's why I said that, because you can say fue or es. Es means it's. If you say es pan comido, it's a piece of cake. Fue pan comido, it was a piece of cake. Okay? So past tense, it was a piece of cake. If someone is asking you, hey, like, can you fix this? Can you fix my computer? I have this issue, blah, 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 yada, yada, yada. Then you can say, claro, sure. Es pan comido. It's a piece of cake. Okay? So that's what it means. If someone is asking you to fix something, right, and you can do it, then you can say, es pan comido. It's a piece of cake. In this situation, past tense, you already fixed the computer. So that's why you need fue. Fue pan comido. It was a piece of cake. So no problem at all. Excellent. So remember, if you want to say it's a piece of cake, or it was a piece of cake, or just when something is really easy to do or fix, you can use this phrase, ser pan comido. And we're talking about bread for some reason. We're talking about bread. I mean, as I said before, in English, it's a cake. In Spanish, it's bread. I'm not sure why, but it's a funny phrase to use for sure. Okay. Oops. Hang on. What happened here? Okay. So phrase number 5. Remember, we have 10 phrases. So phrase number 5, número 5 es tomar el pelo. Tomar el pelo. Pelo can mean one hair, el pelo, one single hair, or the entire, all the hair that you have on your head. So el pelo. Tomar means to take, okay, to take. El pelo means hair. So that's to take, that's the meaning, to take hair. Why are we taking hair? Why? I wonder why. The literal meaning is to take someone, in this situation, someone's hair. Okay, so you use this if usually when someone is taking your hair, or when someone is taking someone's hair, but it's not a literal translation. It's not about a literal translation. The meaning actually is to get scammed, okay, or to get ripped off. And also there's more. To be lied to. So if someone is not honest, if someone wants to scam you, or you're about to get ripped off, you can, or you already got ripped off, you can use this phrase for sure. It's a very sadly a common phrase because those things happen, sadly. Tomar. First, you need to know the conjugation of this verb. Tomar. Yo tomo, tú tomas, él toma, nosotros tomamos, okay? And so on. And so on. And yeah, you need to know the conjugation of that. For example, ¿es en serio la casa tan barata? ¿Es en serio la casa tan barata? No me tomes el pelo. ¿Es en serio la casa tan barata? No me tomes el pelo. Okay? No me tomes el pelo. This means, is the house really that cheap? Is the house really that cheap? Don't lie / don't rip me off / don't scam me. Okay? So that's what we're talking about here. If something sounds too good to be true, you can use this phrase because you don't know, maybe someone wants to steal your money or someone is lying to you. Even you can use this phrase if someone just lies to you, you know, like they're constantly, I mean, I would say they lie constantly. Not only one lie, but, you know, it depends on the lie. I mean, some lies are very crazy. But if someone, for example, is just hiding information from you or trying to rip you off, that's the simple term. If someone is trying to rip you off, you can use this phrase for sure. Okay? So, en serio. ¿Es en serio? ¿Es en serio la casa tan barata? Let's break this down. You can say en serio es or es en serio. Doesn't matter. When asking things in Spanish, that's very flexible. There, you know, in English you have do you, will you, are you, and so on. In Spanish, there's not like a precise formula. It's very flexible. You can say, ¿es la casa tan barata? La casa es tan barata. So there's different ways to ask a question in Spanish, and it's very flexible. So, ¿es en serio? You can say that. That means is really. Okay, es is. En serio, really? You can use this just by itself when someone is telling you something juicy, something unbelievable. You can say, ¿en serio? ¿En serio? Really? Okay, so it's a great word to learn. La casa. La casa means the house. Tan. That. Tan is used when you're like saying that, or so cheap, that cheap, so cheap. Okay, so it's similar to that or so. Barata means cheap, and we're not saying barato, which is the masculine form, because adjectives in Spanish, you need to match the gender and number. You know, if I'm talking about one house and it's feminine, la casa, then you need feminine adjectives. And because it's singular, it has to be singular. If it was las casas, then you need to add an S. You need to make adjectives plural as well. So, yeah, la casa tan barata, that cheap, so cheap, okay? And then if you say, no me tomes el pelo, no me tomes el pelo. That means don't lie to me, don't rip me off, please don't scam don't scam me. Okay, so very, very good. I like this phrase. I mean, even though it's not that good that you have that kind of situation, it's very useful because it's like playfully you're saying, hey, please just don't lie. Please don't rip me off. So it's a good one. It's a good one for sure. I don't know why it's like taking someone's hair, like the literal meaning. I don't know what it has to do with being lied to, but for some reason it's used, and it's quite funny because it's like, why? Why the hair? Why are you like talking about taking someone's hair? Very, very peculiar for sure. Okay. The next phrase number 6. Estar vivito. Estar vivito. Sounds so cute, vivito. You could call a pet vivito, right? It sounds like that sweet. It's a sweet word, but I mean, it has its meaning, of course. Estar vivito y coleando. Estar vivito y coleando. Remember, the V sound in Spanish is very similar to the B as in bell. Vivito. Okay, but if you have, if you say vivito, it's okay. Like Spanish speakers will understand that as well. So usually you will pronounce it, or you pronounce it vivito. Okay, so estar, we see this common Spanish verb that means to be. Ser, estar, both mean to be. Estar vivito. It's a diminutive word, and it means in this situation alive. Okay, estoy vivito, I'm alive. It's similar to saying estoy vivo. I'm alive. So this comes from it's not a verb, but it comes from vivir. Vivito will be like saying alive, as I said before. Alive, and that's an adjective. Vivo, that's the common adjective. Vivo. Okay, you can say estoy vivo y coleando as well, but it's not as fun as saying vivito. Vivito. Okay, so that's a good phrase right there for sure, and a good word, vivito. Vivito y coleando. Coleando, it's similar to saying when a dog shakes their tail. When they shake their tail, or dogs, they shake their buns. So it's similar to that, coleando. But we're not talking about ducks or dogs. We're talking about something else. So the literal translation is to be alive and shaking the tail. So for some reason, you're shaking the tail. What? Shaking one's tail. I don't think we have tails. We don't have tails. We have buns. So it's similar to shaking your buns, right? Shaking your buns. But cola means cola means, it's a very common word that means butt. You're behind. If you say cola. I know that there's cola also refers to the soda, I think. Cola. It's part of a brand. But anyways, we're talking about the behind, okay? Cola. It's a very informal way to refer to a butt. So I would not use it among people you don't know. But that's what it means, and that's why it's similar to coleando. you're shaking your buns, your tail. And how do you use this, or what's the real meaning? How can you use this phrase? So it's similar to saying to be alive and well. Okay, so if you had something going on where, for example, you had a car accident or something like that, I mean, that's awful, right? But some people are really positive, and they're just saying, man, I'm alive, and that's all I need, and I have nothing broken, so I'm like well. So you're alive and well. So you would use this phrase for that situation. I mean, it could be just some accident that was quite dangerous. Okay, so you can use, or can be quite dangerous. So you can use this phrase for that. For example, tuve un accidente. Tuve un accidente. Pero estoy vivita y coleando. Why did I say vivita? Sounds like, I think there's a brand, Vivita? Or is it just me? I don't know. We're not talking about any cookies or anything like that. We're talking about being alive, okay? Estoy vivita. I'm saying vivita because you can have, there's a feminine version of vivito. Vivito masculine, vivita feminine, okay? So if you identify as male, you can say vivito. If you identify as female, you can say vivita. If you don't have any gender, like you don't identify with any gender, you can just change the A or O with the letter E or E, vivite, right? Vivite. But that's quite interesting. In this case, vivita, I'm saying vivita y coleando. So, tuve un accidente. Tuve un accidente. Tener un accidente is like saying to have an accident, okay? So, tuve comes from the verb tener, means to have. Un, or in this situation, un accidente, accident. It doesn't specify what kind of accident, but it's just an accident, okay? But, estoy vivita, I'm alive, and coleando. Well, just shaking your tail. I don't know how else to say this, but that's the literal meaning, but it means well, okay? So you're alive and well, like a duck coming out of the water, and you're alive and well, shaking your tail. So yeah, it's quite funny. So let's just see the translation, of course. I had an accident, but I'm alive and well. So that's a playful, positive way to say that you're alive and well. So feel free to use, I mean, hopefully you don't have to use this phrase because accidents are not good. But if you want to say that you're alive and well, you can say this in Spanish, and it's a positive phrase that you can say, and a little playful for sure, a little funny too. Okay, the next phrase, we have only 4 to go, guys, only 4 to go. Estar feliz como una lombriz. Estar feliz como una lombriz. 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 Well, this means, the literal translation is to be happy as a worm. To be happy as a worm. Yum. I mean, not yum. Why did I say yum? I'm just, lombriz means worm, and it's just, I don't know, I'm afraid of worms. I don't like seeing the worms. I respect them, but I don't like seeing worms. Lombriz, that's what it means, worm. Estar, you need to know the conjugation of the verb estar. Again, it means to be, estar. Feliz means happy. Estoy feliz, I'm happy. Estás feliz, you're happy. Okay, so this is a great adjective to learn, feliz. And it doesn't have a feminine or masculine, it doesn't have a grammatical gender, so I like that. It's easy to use and remember. It has a plural form, felices, okay, with a C and E and S, felices, okay, but that means happy, plural. Las personas felices, happy people, right? But yeah, in this case, estar feliz, to be happy. Como means how, and also as, okay, like this one. Una, a lombriz, worm. La lombriz, by the way, that's why we're saying una, because lombriz is feminine. Una lombriz, a worm. La lombriz, the worm. Okay, so just remember that. Now, what's the actual meaning of this phrase? The meaning is to be very happy. That's what it is. So when you're really, really happy, you can use this. I don't know if worms are happy. I hope they are. But for some reason, this phrase exists in Spanish. And it refers to someone who is really happy. Because you got good news, you know, like you heard some good news. So that's good. You're happy. Or I don't know, you won the lottery. You're very happy. You got a new job. You're very happy, right? So that's how you would use this phrase in those situations where you're really happy because of something. Okay, for example, I can say, hoy me dieron buenas noticias. Hoy me dieron buenas noticias. What does that mean? Hoy me dieron buenas noticias. Estoy feliz como una lombriz. Hoy me dieron buenas noticias. Estoy feliz como una lombriz. Okay? So this means I've got good news today. Hoy, today. I'm so happy. So that's what it means. So let's break it down. When you say hoy, that means today. So you can have hoy at the beginning of a sentence or at the end of a sentence. So you can say, me dieron buenas noticias hoy, or hoy me dieron buenas noticias. Both are correct. Both forms are correct. Me dieron. Dieron comes from the verb dar. So technically you're saying today they gave me buenas. Buenas means good, and it's feminine and it's plural. Why? Because we have noticias, which is feminine and plural. Las noticias. Buenas noticias. Good news. Okay? So today they gave me good news. That's the literal translation. But it's similar to saying I've got good news today. So that's good. Estoy feliz. This, you know, this is the conjugated form of estar. estoy, yo estoy. Once again, technically you could have yo here, yo estoy feliz, but you don't need yo. You don't need you don't need yo in this situation. Estoy, I mean, if you want to say it, go for it, but you don't need it. You don't need it. Estoy feliz, I'm happy, or if you say just that, estoy feliz, that means I am happy. Okay, so you can say that by itself if you feel happy, if you want to say I'm happy, but you can also say estoy feliz como una lombriz. I'm so happy. So this is a great phrase to learn if you want to sound like a native Spanish speaker. You know why to say I'm happy when you can say I'm happy as a worm. Right? It sounds more, it has more substance for sure. So yeah, you can use that phrase to say that you're really happy, that you're really happy. Excellent. So phrase number 8. Just need some water. Big mug, huh? Okay. Ooh. Phrase number 8. Meter la pata. Meter la pata. Meter comes from the, it doesn't come. It is a verb. And it means to put in. Okay? To put in. To put in. Meter algo a la bolsa. To put something in the bag. Meter. Algo, something. Algo means something. But anyways, we're talking about meter. And bolsa means bag. Sorry, I needed to say that. Meter means to put in, inside of something. La pata. This is an informal way, very slang word to refer to a leg or your foot. Okay? If someone says, te huelen las patas, your feet smell. Okay, so really quickly, I'll tell you how that phrase is written. Te huelen las patas. Oops, sorry. Just let me show you the whole thing. Wrong brush again. Te huelen las patas. I love this. Te huelen las patas. This means your feet smell. Patas, feet. Oler or huelen. Huelen comes from the verb oler. That is that means to smell. Okay. Te is a pronoun and it means you know, like your feet smell. Te huelen las patas. It's similar to saying that. Te huelen las patas. Of course, you can say tus patas, which is like your feet, right? But a lot of people say las patas, feet. And when you say te huelen las patas, you're saying your feet smell. Anyways, I just needed to say that. I don't know why, but pata, it reminded me of that phrase. But meter la pata, what does that mean? To put the leg or the feet in. That's what it means. So that's the literal meaning. To stick, I mean, to put in, to stick in as well. Very similar to that. To stick the leg in. I don't know where, but you're sticking the leg in. You know, it's similar when you stick your leg, you extend your leg and someone just falls down because of it. I mean, that's cruel. That's very cruel, but it's similar to that. When you stick the leg in, or stick the leg, you move it somewhere. You have some motion happening with your leg, for sure. But what does this mean? The real meaning, not the literal meaning. It means to make a mistake, to screw up. Okay? So when you do that, meter la pata, you're making a mistake. You're screwing things up. So that's what this means. For example, I could say, perdí tu celular. Perdí tu celular. Discúlpame. Discúlpame. Metí la pata. Perdí tu celular. Discúlpame. Metí la pata. This means I lost your phone. I'm sorry. I screwed up. So yeah, celular. I mean, you can say the whole term teléfono celular. Okay, so just let me show you the whole long term. You don't have to. But if you want to say it, it's up to you. Perdí tu teléfono celular. Perdí tu teléfono celular. So that means cell phone, okay? But you can also just say celular, okay? Or even cel, like that. Perdí tu cel. That's like even shorter than celular. So, perdí tu cel. I lost your phone, your cell phone, okay? Perdí tu celular, same thing. Or perdí tu teléfono celular, same thing. Okay. Perdí tu celular. Discúlpame. Discúlpame is a great word that means I'm sorry. Okay. I'm sorry, or forgive me. That's the literal translation, but it's very similar to saying I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Remember, perdí comes from the verb perder, which means to lost. Perdí, past tense, I lost. To lose, sorry. Perder means to lose. I don't know if I said to lost. It means to lose something. And perdí is the past tense. I lost. Yo perdí, I lost. Lost. Tú, your. Remember, without the accent mark, we don't have an accent mark, that means your. If it has an accent mark, it means you. Okay? Just that means you. So you don't need the accent mark there. So it will be tú, just like that. Tu celular. Your phone, your cell phone. Discúlpame, I'm sorry. Metí la pata. Metí la pata. I screwed up. You didn't make a mistake. You technically didn't, it depends. If the person said, please do not lose my phone. Please take my phone. Please take care of it. And you lose it, then you can say, metí la pata. Because that person told you to be careful with their phone. And you didn't. So that's when you use metí la pata. When you screw up. When you screw up. So that happens. Anybody can make a mistake. It's okay. But this phrase is for those situations when you want to say, hey, like you screwed up, I screwed up, we screwed up. It depends on the situation. We made a mistake, you made a mistake, and so on. So remember to know the conjugation, to learn the conjugation of the verb meter. We can talk about that in a future lesson for sure. If you want to say, for example, you screwed up, you would say metiste. Metiste la pata. So it's like saying tú. Okay, tú metiste la pata. you screwed up. Okay? Or you could say, ellos metieron hang on. Ellos metieron, doesn't need an accent mark. They screwed up. Ellos metieron la pata. They screwed up. Okay? So you don't need the pronoun. You can say metieron la pata. They screwed up. Okay? You can also say metimos. Metimos la pata. And that means we screwed up. So it's like saying nosotros. Okay, oops, needs a space. Nosotros metimos la pata. We screwed up. Okay? Or someone can say no metas la pata. Don't screw up. Don't screw up. Okay? So that's a command. Don't screw up. Or don't screw this up. Okay? No metas la pata. But we had metí. I screwed up. Metí la pata. I screwed up. Okay, excellent. So remember, we're talking about making mistakes or screwing things up. Meter la pata. Meter la pata. Excellent. So the next phrase, we have two more, and that's it. Ser uña y mugre. Ser uña y mugre. The literal translation is to be nail and dirt/filth. Nail, we're not talking about the metal nails. We're talking about uña, which means fingernail, okay? Or toenail, depends which one, but usually it means nail. La uña, and the nail, okay? Ser uña. Ser, we see this common verb again. Ser means to be. Uña, nail. Y and mugre. Mugre means dirt. When something looks dirty, right? Mugre, or dirt, rather. And also it means filth, okay? We're not talking about dirt that you use for, soil, like when you use that for plants or something like that. We're not talking about that. We're talking about something dirty, something filthy. But mugre means dirt, filth, okay? So were we talking about a nail, a fingernail, and some filth? Like, what are we saying here? What's the real meaning of this phrase? This means to be always together, not to be always dirty or filthy. We're talking about people being always together. Usually two people. One is the nail and the other one is the dirt. I don't know why. It's not impolite. It's not rude. This phrase it's not rude. But when kids play a lot, they get, like dirt under their fingernails. So that they were playing. You really know they were playing. So that's what this refers to when you have a nail and some filth under it. I'm not sure why they use this phrase, but it's a common one to refer to really good friends, best friends that are always together. They're going everywhere together. So for example, I could say, María y Carolina son uña y mugre. María y Carolina son uña y mugre. Why? Nunca se pelean. Nunca se pelean. Okay, so this means Maria and Carolina. Carolina is a common name, first name in Latin America. And probably in Spain, but I know for sure in Latin America. Maria and Carolina are always together. So it's similar to saying that, that they're always together. Oh my God. It's a good thing, I think. They never fight. Okay, so let's break this down. We have obviously two people because we're talking about uña and mugre, but not in a bad way, in a positive way. María y Carolina. María and Carolina. Son is this right here, conjugated. Son, ellas son, okay. Uña y mugre. The rest of the phrase, which means they're always together, okay. Always together. They're always together. Nunca means never. Se pelean. They fight. So technically you're saying ellas nunca se pelean, but we don't need ellas. And we need se though. We need this pronoun. Nunca se pelean. Okay? They never fight. That's what this means. So they're super best friends. They never fight, and that's a good thing. That's a good thing. BFFs forever. Okay. It's BFF. Is it BF? Best friends forever. BFFs. Because I said best friends, BFFs forever, and I don't need to say forever. That's what it means, right? Best friends forever. BFFs. Yeah. That's it. So this is a funny phrase. I guess we're talking about dirty fingernails and we're referring to best friends. Excellent. The last phrase, guys. This is the last one. Okay. So the last one is sacar los trapitos al sol. Sacar los trapitos al sol. Trapitos. Diminutive. Something not small. It could be big, I guess. But you'll see. Sacar is a verb and it means to take something out. When you're taking something out of a bag, out of a box, out of a drawer, out of something, out of something. Los trapitos, the cloths, like that. Trapo refers to any piece of fabric that you use for different things, to clean or it could be a kitchen towel or something like that. Something that you use to clean with. Trapo. And the diminutive form is trapitos. And I love it. I love the word. Al sol. In the sun, when you take something in the sun. So a él, that's what technically we have here, but we in Spanish, this is wrong. Like you need to have al. Okay, so when that happens, you need to have al, not a él. Al. Okay, sol means sun, the sun, and that's the literal meaning. So we have it here, literal meaning, to take one's rags, pieces of cloth, and so on, to take one's rags out in the sun. Okay, so you're taking it out. It's like before, and probably now in some places, people wash their cloths, their rags, and they take them out in the sun so they dry, right? So it's similar to saying that. But what is the actual meaning? When can you use this phrase? To expose information that is private. I mean, it's an idea, right? I can't tell you a literal translation. Well, I told you the literal translation, but the meaning is, or the use is, when you say something that you shouldn't say it out loud, something private, something that it's too, when someone says something like it's too much information, TMI, that's exactly it. That kind of information that you should not be saying out loud, that's what this refers to. Okay, some people, when they argue, they say things, private things, secrets, something that they should not, or they don't want other people to know for whatever reason. And when people are arguing, they might say those things. TMI. TMI. Right? Okay. So, for example, oh, by the way, I think I said this already, but you need to know the conjugation of the verb sacar. Okay? Sacar. Miguel y María empezaron a discutir. Miguel y María empezaron a discutir. That's not good. Y sacaron sus trapitos al sol. Miguel y María empezaron a discutir y sacaron sus trapitos al sol. Something that was hidden, now it's in the sun, like outside in the sunlight. So, visible. Something like that. So, Miguel y María, well, let's see the meaning. Miguel and why there? Miguel and Maria started arguing, and they, my God, and they said private things about their relationship. Okay, so it's about the situation. Are they dating? Are they saying things about themselves and their relationship? Or are they saying certain things that are private, right? So what are we talking about here? So when those things happen, when you know the situation, you kind of get the idea, okay? Sacar los trapitos al sol. They said too much. They said too much. Things we didn't need to know. So let's break this down. Okay, well, these are names. Miguel y María. Miguel and María. Empezaron. Empezaron is a great word. Comes from the verb empezar. Empezar means to start, to begin. Okay, so empezaron means started. And also, great thing to know is that when you use empezar, you will see this word as well. Empezaron a. Empezar a means to start, and then you add the action. So if you want to to add more to the sentence, you need to use a. Empezaron a. Okay, so remember that phrase because it's helpful to know when you need these little words, it's good to know. A is a preposition and it means a bunch of things. To, at, well, actually just to and at. But when you have it with this verb, empezar a, that means to start ... Okay, so arguing in Spanish is discutir. Discutir is just when people are, just talking a lot about something. They're arguing and they're saying things. They're not too happy, right? When people are not happy, arguing. I don't think you can argue happily. I mean, I don't think so. It's usually when you have some issues, right? So you're not happy, you're arguing. Discutir is a verb for that. Discutir, empezaron a discutir. This is another interesting thing to learn when you want to use empezar in a. When you say empezar a, and then you have the verb has to be in an infinitive way. That means it's not conjugated. It's, it's the way it is. Discutir is the verb, and that's it. It's not conjugated. It's infinitive form. Discutir. Empezaron a discutir. Empezaron a comer. Empezaron a correr. Empezaron a hablar. Okay, so just keep that in mind. I know in English it's arguing. Started arguing. But in Spanish, it doesn't work that way. It's not empezaron a discutiendo because that doesn't make sense. The translation of arguing is discutiendo. But in Spanish, doesn't work that way. You need to have empezar a or empezaron a and then the infinitive verb. Discutir. Discutir. Okay? Y and sacaron, ellos sacaron, and they, well, this is part of the whole phrase, sacaron sus trapitos al sol. And they said, similar to saying they said private things about their relationship, TMI, TMI, that's what it means, TMI. So, remember, I have sacaron because this has to get conjugated. Ellos sacaron. Yo saqué. Él sacó. That's present tense, past tense. Present tense will be yo saco mis trapitos al sol. Oh, by the way, another important thing to say is this part here. Let me just remove all of this so we don't get confused. I know that I have los right here. Sorry. I know that I have los, okay? But when you're talking about, for example, they, then you need their, okay? Their rags. Their rags. It's not your rags, his rags. It's their rags in this situation. Of course, this changes. So this can change, okay? This can change to mis. Let me just put it here. Sacar mis trapitos, my rags. That's the literal translation. But in this case, it's my private things, not private things, my private information, my secrets and whatnot. Or it could be tus, your rags, okay, tus trapitos, your rags, or it could be sus trapitos, their rags, their information, their private information. So this changes, And I put los because I wanted to let you know that this changes. If someone says, yeah, like you can also say los y sacaron los trapitos al sol. You could say it, but if you want to specify that it's their information, then you need sus. Okay, like right here, sus. It's a common thing to do. Anyways, so this is another interesting, kind of funny phrase. We're talking about someone's rags to be out, visible in the sun. But it happens. I mean, those things happen. Sometimes people say too much. It's like, we didn't need to know about that. It's fine. It's fine. Just TMI. TMI. Okay, so this was the last phrase. Do you guys have any questions? I see Lindsay is in the house. Hello, Lindsay. Trapitos al sol es como dirt en inglés. I have some dirt on my boss that could ruin his career. Yeah, it's similar. I would say it's very similar. It's very similar. But usually it happens accidentally with this. It's not like you would go out of your way to investigate or to know something, to get information about something that is private. It's more like, oh my God, like they got into a heated argument and they said things they shouldn't say, you know what I mean? Nothing rude. Maybe they could be saying, and I'm sick of your family, right? Like in front of friends, like if a couple is arguing, and I know that, and I don't like this about you, and it's like, okay, it's something that happens kind of accidentally. It's not like malicious, it's like by accident you revealed something that, oh my God, I shouldn't say that. What an idiot, I made a mistake. Why did I say that? It's more like accidental, I would say. But I'm going to try to find, because I'm thinking about something similar to the one you said, Lindsay. The dirt. I know that one. Yeah, that sounds a bit more malicious. A little bit more malicious. But I'll see what I can find. Right now I don't remember any similar to that one, but dirt. But next time, if I remember later on, I will let you know next time for sure. But yeah, this one is more accidental kind of situation. You didn't want to say something. It's like thinking out loud something, or you're saying, thinking out loud about something that it's just better not to say. Like, your friends don't need to know about, for example, private things about your relationship, right? They don't need to know. But if people talk too much, they can say those things, and it's like you're exposing your private information, your private life, something like that. It's more like private life, exposing your private life. Thank you so much, Lindsay. Thank you. Thanks for your comment about dirt. Yeah, I totally get it, for sure. It seems pretty similar, but it's slightly different. But yeah, you're welcome, Lindsay. Thanks for stopping by, and I'm really happy you enjoyed the lesson. Thank you. Okay, so that's it, guys. I hope you liked this lesson. If you did, please give it a like. Give it a like. Eso me va a hacer más feliz. Me va a hacer feliz como una lombriz. That's gonna make me really happy. So please feel free. Oh, I mean, not feel free, but I mean, yeah, feel free, and you should be practicing your Spanish. And what a better way to do it than, using these amazing, funny, and common phrases in Spanish. So yeah, challenge yourself and try to use some of these phrases with friends that speak Spanish. Or here, you can leave a comment down below using any of these phrases. You can share that on the chat as well if you are watching this live stream right now. But that's it, guys. That's it. Remember that I live stream every Tuesday around 7-ish p.m. Eastern time. So if you don't want to miss out any of my live streams, please click on the bell notification icon and subscribe. So yeah, the bell icon, if you activate the bell icon, YouTube notifies you every time I live stream. So you need to activate all the alerts, I think, for that. So you can do that. You can subscribe, support the channel by liking this video, by getting a membership that is very cheap. So if you can, please take a look. You need to click on the join button down below. And that is it. Thank you for watching, guys. I'll see you next week. Bye-bye. See ya.